Ready.
Hi guys, this is Crystal Bold with Fuel 21, part 2 of how to make bone broth. And our broth has now been going for 24 hours. It's right at 10 o'clock, so we're about 20 minutes early. But it looks like it's ready to go. It smells delicious, so I'm super excited about this batch. And this is what it looks like right now. So you can see we've got a nice finished product. Everything in there is cooked. What we're going to do, the next step, is basically getting all the bones out. So we're going to put all the bones in this bowl here, and then we are going to strain the broth through here and try to get all the little grits and things like that. Once we get the broth into the bowl, then all we're going to do is put the bowl into the fridge, let it sit overnight until it cools, and then that's the third step of the process. So first things first, what you want to do next is get all of your bones out. So use anything you have. I've just got a simple spoon here, and I'm going to start fishing out my bones. Oop, just like that. And you want to try to just get the big pieces for right now. Don't worry about too much of the little stuff as we go. And you want to be careful because it is pretty warm. You can kind of look at the bones here and you can tell they're a little bit different than where they were. You can see the bone marrow in here. This is actually edible if you wanted to eat the inside of that. And all of the meat is edible at this point if you wanted to add it to a soup or stew or anything like that. And also, if you look at this bone, you can see it's kind of eaten on the inside, I guess you could say. This is where the minerals have come out of the bone, and so that's a really great sign. So that apple cider vinegar that we put in did its work, got all the minerals out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue taking the bones out, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we have gotten all of the big pieces out and all the big bones are in there. So the next step is to take a strainer, put it on top of a large bowl. This should be big enough for all of our broth. If not, we'll just have to use a different bowl. But now at this point, I don't like to pick up the crock pot and pour it in because frankly I'm dangerous and I'll probably burn myself. So I like to just go scoop by scoop, but you can obviously choose what works best for you. So at this point, all you're going to do is start ladling in your broth, and you can see it's got this nice like fat rising to the top there, which is really good. We're going to put it through the strainer, and that's just going to get out all the little gunks and pieces that I missed by pulling out the bones. So we're going to continue on. You're going to find your garlic in there, your bay leaf, all of that fun stuff. And this is the almost finished result. So that's what it should look like at this point. Okay, so we have officially separated out the bones, and I put all of the bones back in the crock pot because we are actually going to do a second batch of this. And this is all the meat and fat that was attached to it. This is going to go to the dogs. They're going to get a little treat, which they'll be super excited about. This is our bone broth. And at this point, it is pretty much ready to go. You could have soup right away, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some wrap on top of this and let it sit for 24 hours. And then once it sets, you're going to have 3 different consistencies. You're going to have a fat layer that's white and decently thick. You're going to have a broth, which hopefully it's gelled. That's the best. If it's not gelled, it's not the end of the world, but you are hoping to get a jelly type mixture. And at the bottom, you're still going to get some scum that didn't quite get separated from the strainer. And so at that point, I like to just take the broth, put it in jars, and freeze that, or keep it in the fridge. Your broth will keep for about a week. I like to freeze mine so that way, in case I don't eat it within the week, I can make sure I have some on reserve and always have bone broth handy. You can have this for breakfast. It's a great breakfast option for those of you that don't really like eating breakfast. If you want a snack midday, mid-morning, meal replacement, it's excellent. And some of the benefits of having bone broth is it's super affordable. The bones are relatively cheap. I think we got all of these collectively for about $15. And with that, you usually have the apple cider vinegar and other things on hand. So you make a ton of it, so you don't have to buy as much meat, and it's a high dose of protein and fat coming in. So for those of you who are on a paleo budget or who are looking for just some nourishing food, it's a great option. So at this point, I'll put this in the fridge. We're going to go round 2 here with another 24 hours. And so we have our bones in there. Again, I do the exact same thing. I'm going to pour water in, filtered water again, fluoride free, back into my crock pot. Let me go ahead and fill it all the way up there. Couple of splashes of apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider vinegar on hand, then you can use anything acidic. So if you have some lemons, you can do juice from a whole lemon, and that would work just as well. Or if you have any other kind of vinegar, go with that. So lemon in there, we're going to put peppercorns again, garlic, bay leaf, a couple more, and the best ingredient, sea salt. Now, this batch of bone broth is going to be very different from your first batch. This one is going to be a lot more liquid and not quite as gelled. And that's totally fine. I actually kind of prefer the second batch to the first batch, just because I kind of like that thinner liquid, I suppose. And then that's it. So we're going to turn it on. It's going to go for another 24 hours. I'll show you what this looks like tomorrow, the finished product of the bone broth, and we can see the consistency difference. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So thanks for watching, and we'll tune in tomorrow.